It began on January 26, 2013. 21-year-old Elisa Lam, a student from British Columbia, Canada, arrived in Los Angeles on a solo trip across the West Coast, planning to explore various cities. She checked into the Cecil Hotel, a budget building in downtown LA with a long, dark history. This notorious establishment was once home to criminals, addicts, and the site of numerous tragedies, earning it a grim reputation. But Elisa, unaware of the hotel's dark past, planned to stay just a few nights. She diligently shared photos and wrote daily updates on her Tumblr blog, documenting her journey and experiences. Her posts detailed her dreams, her fears, and the exhilarating thrill of traveling alone, capturing the essence of her adventure. Then, abruptly, on January 31st, she vanished without a trace. Her parents grew increasingly worried when Elisa stopped calling home, as they had been in daily contact. A search began, and hotel staff reported strange behavior. Elisa had been moved from a shared room to a private one after her roommates complained of odd episodes and unusual conduct. Then, on February 13th, police released a surveillance video from the hotel elevator, hoping someone would recognize her. This footage has since become one of the most watched and debated mystery scenes in internet history, captivating millions. In the grainy footage, Elisa steps into the elevator, presses several buttons, then retreats to the corner as if afraid or hiding. She peers out repeatedly, looking left and right, while the elevator doors inexplicably remain open. She then steps out, gestures wildly with her hands in strange, almost ritualistic patterns, as if speaking to an unseen presence or engaging in a bizarre conversation. After these perplexing movements, she walks away, disappearing down the dimly lit hallway. The elevator doors finally close, leaving an empty frame. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. For nearly 3 weeks, her whereabouts remained unknown, fueling intense speculation and a desperate search. Then, on February 19th, hotel guests began complaining about unusually low water pressure and that the tap water tasted odd. Maintenance workers were dispatched to the roof to check the large water tanks. Inside one of them, they made a horrifying discovery: Elisa Lam's body. She was found naked, floating face up in the murky water tank, with her clothes and personal items, including her watch and room key, found at the bottom. The investigation began immediately. The roof was supposedly locked and accessible only through an alarm door or a difficult climb up the side of the structure. Crucially, no alarms were triggered, raising immediate questions about how she gained access. The tank itself was heavy, with a metal lid requiring significant effort to open, further deepening the mystery of how she got inside. The autopsy found no drugs or alcohol in her system, only traces of her prescribed bipolar medication and no signs of physical trauma. There were no signs of assault or foul play, leading the coroner to rule the death an accidental drowning, with bipolar disorder listed as a significant contributing factor. However, very few people, both online and offline, believed that explanation, given the bizarre circumstances. Online, theories exploded, fueled by the perplexing elevator video and the unusual discovery. Some speculated she was having a severe psychotic episode, possibly caused by a medication imbalance, leading her to hallucinate, become confused, and be unaware of the inherent danger. Others believed there was someone else in that hallway, hidden just out of view, interacting with her. More extreme theories pointed to the Cecil Hotel itself, a building tied to infamous killers like Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, and Jack Unterweger, who had both lived there decades earlier, suggesting a sinister influence. Some even claimed the place was cursed, given its dark history of violence, suicide, and murder. Investigators later determined that the elevator malfunctioned that day due to a maintenance issue, which explained why the doors stayed open in the footage, but this only answered one small part of the puzzle. But it didn't explain how Elisa reached the locked roof, why her clothes were removed and found separately, or how she ended up inside a sealed water tank, a feat that seemed almost impossible for one person to accomplish alone. Years later, the Cecil Hotel closed temporarily and rebranded, eventually reopening as an affordable housing complex. But the haunting story of Elisa Lam never faded. Her blog remains online, her last posts eerily ordinary, depicting a young woman exploring the world. Tragically unaware her story would become one of the most discussed and unsettling mysteries of the internet age. In the end, maybe it wasn't a haunting or a sinister plot. Maybe it was a tragic confluence of mental illness, negligence, or a series of unfortunate accidents. But the full truth remains submerged, as elusive and unreachable as the bottom of that water tank, leaving countless questions unanswered. This is Truth in the Shadows, where every answer raises another question, and the darkness often conceals more than it reveals.